Hey cats, today's video is going to be a quick look into all of the cryptids I'm going to be drawing this year. Hey, I'm Jack, he, him, and this video is going to be a quick little primer on each of the 12 different cryptids that I've chosen to do for my monthly art themes this year. So I like to do a yearly art theme with then more specific themes each month under that category, and my patrons get to choose the yearly theme, and this year they chose cryptids and creatures. So all of the art I make this year will somehow align with the following 12 creatures, and that stuff will include prints, stickers, bookmarks, notebook covers, t-shirts, and then at the end of the year I'll be releasing a themed tarot deck featuring all of these creatures. So I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of formally introduce each little guy. This way all of you know what's coming and you can get to know some trivia about the ones you're less familiar with. So the first creature of the year from last month is the Fresno Nightcrawler. There's not really a whole lot of lore about these guys, but one of the main theories is that they might be aliens. Fresno Nightcrawlers were first allegedly sighted in Fresno, California in 2007, and since then sightings have actually been relatively rare. I chose Nightcrawlers for January, so all of the Nightcrawler art is already finished, and you can become a patron or follow me on Tumblr or Instagram to see it when it gets posted. February's cryptid is the Goatman. The Goatman is a creature of urban legend that goes all the way back to the 1950s. There are many different versions, but one of the most popular is the Goatman of Old Alton Bridge in Denton, Texas, as seen on BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Goatman, I'm dancing on your bridge. It's my bridge now. Holy shit. You hear that? If you want me off this bridge, you're gonna have to kill me. Holy shit. You're gonna have to throw me off this bridge yourself.
You did throw somebody off the bridge once.
Look at the way I dance on it. I disrespect your bridge, Goatman.
Misdeeds attributed to the Goatman include killing dogs, destroying cars with an axe, and in Denton, throwing people off of his bridge. The early Goatman is described to resemble a faun, with the upper half of a man and the lower half of a goat. The contemporary Goatman, however, is much more goat-like, with a goat face and fur that covers his entire body. In some legends, the Goatman is said to be a man who was disfigured in a goat experiment gone wrong. In others, he's a cursed hermit. He's also been said to be a demon, or possibly even the devil himself. The goat motif is, of course, common in depictions of demons due to its association with the devil. One relatively famous goat-like demon, or god, depending on who you ask, is Baphomet, which is the figure I chose to focus my art on this month. Baphomet was allegedly worshipped by the Knights Templar in the 1300s. Now, Baphomet is a symbol of balance in occultism. This concept is clear in his various opposing traits. He is both animal and man, both female and male, and both good and evil. The next mystical creatures of the year are fairies for March. There are many different folkloric figures that are called fairies, but for my art in March and for this video, I'll be focusing on the trickster-like nature spirits depicted as small humans with some kind of animalistic trait, such as insect wings. The historical origins of fairies like this include Persian mythology and Celtic folklore. Much of the folklore tells how to protect against fairies, such as through iron, amulets, or just taking care not to intrude on or offend them. In some traditions, the fairies are separated into two separate classes, the Seelie and the Unseelie courts. The Seelie court is more inclined to benefit men, or at least to prefer less deadly pranks, while the Unseelie are a little more malicious and easier to offend. April's creatures are Selkies. These mystical figures are also Celtic in origin as well as Norse. A Selkie is a being that can change from a seal to a human by shedding their seal skin. The most well-known folklore of Selkies is about Selkie women being coerced into relationships with human men who have hidden their seal skin. For May, I'll be focusing on one of the most classic cryptids, Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch. Bigfoot is a giant ape man that allegedly lives in the woods of North America. It has been said to be the missing link in the evolutionary chain between apes and men. The epithetical big feet of the Sasquatch have been claimed to be as big as 2 feet long. Bigfoot is one of the most popular, well-known, and frequently cited cryptids. In June, I'll be making art about mermaids. Other artists online might be familiar with Mermaid, but I chose June instead of May for mermaids for the Pride Association. A popular nickname or euphemism for trans kids and trans youth is Mermaids, and there's a charity named after that term. So in June, I will be donating part of the proceeds of my art to that charity. As for the mythical creatures, a mermaid is a being with the upper half of a woman and the bottom half of a fish. Many artists have expanded their depiction to include men and other genders, as well as all kinds of different aquatic animals. Mermaids are often associated with shipwrecks and drownings. But on the other hand, some folklores say that they save sailors from wrecks and storms. Mermaids, much like fairies, have been heavily featured in art and fiction, ranging all the way from horrifically monstrous to harmlessly whimsical. The next cryptid is another classic, the Loch Ness Monster. This wet beast will be featured in July. The Loch Ness Monster, fondly called Nessie, is a serpent or dinosaur-like creature that lives in Loch Ness, Scotland. It has been said to have been sighted there since the 6th century. In those early accounts, Nessie was described as malicious and was said to be repelled by the cross. In more recent times, the Loch Ness is generally thought of to be harmless and has even been given a taxonomical name so that it can be included in environmental conservation efforts. In August, we'll be swinging back into a more mythological lane with the Sphinx. The Sphinx originates both in Greek and Egyptian mythology. The Greek Sphinx is described as a creature with the head of a woman, the body of a lion, and the wings of an eagle. She's said to kill and eat anyone who can't solve her riddle. The Egyptian Sphinx is seen as a more benevolent figure and can sometimes be associated with the goddess Sekhmet. In both traditions, the Sphinx is a powerful guardian and is often used to protect temples and tombs. September's cryptid is the Jackalope. The jackalope is a rabbit with antlers or pronged horns, thus its name being a portmanteau of jackrabbit and antelope. Though there are folkloric accounts of rabbits with antlers, genuine belief in the jackalope is not that common even in cryptozoological circles, as the most well-known jackalopes are just taxidermy art. In October, my art theme will be ghosts. This is an absolute classic and one of the most well-known paranormal beings of all time. A ghost can be something tragic or terrifying, or even just something completely neutral. In the end, a ghost is just the presence of death in the human experience. The next cryptid is another popular one, the Mothman. I chose November for the Mothman because his most famous sighting happened in November. He was seen over the Silver Bridge in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, before it collapsed. While some people believe Mothman made the bridge fall, I interpret him more as a harbinger. I tend to depict him as such by putting him on the Tower card in this year's tarot deck. We finally come to the last month of the year, and I actually don't know what creature I'm going to do for December yet. If you have a suggestion of a cryptid or creature you'd like to see art for, leave a suggestion for me in the comments. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give the video a like and leave a comment if you learned anything new. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos on art, writing, and tarot. And until then, be well.